Well, hello there. It's time for Bridges Intervention Program Training Workshop, and I will be your host today, guiding you through this training. So let's get started. I think the first thing we need to take a look at will be structure and how is the intervention kit laid out. The first 4 sessions in each module feature warm-ups, games and activities, and a guided practice page. Every 5th session is devoted to assessments designed to monitor student progress with the skills targeted during the previous 4 sessions. The instruction in any given volume starts at a basic level and moves toward increased levels of challenge and complexity within a particular domain, often spanning 2 to 3 grade levels. Just like Bridges Core, work is rooted on best practices, infused with models to promote student thinking and engagement, starting with manipulatives, moving to 2D representations like sketches, graphic organizers, and grids, to mental images. So let's talk a little bit about structure. Each volume includes 8 to 12 modules. One module equals 5 sessions, and sessions are the same thing as lessons. So one session is designed for 30 minutes of instruction, and it includes warm-ups for 5 to 10 minutes. It includes an activity or a game for 15 to 20 minutes, and then practice pages for 5 to 10 minutes. Variation with sessions. A session can be repeated 2 to 3 times with variation because the teacher can choose different combinations of resources to use. So the intervention kit focuses on big ideas. The volumes are organized around a big concept rather than by grade level. Each volume follows the learning progressions for conceptual understanding of quantity, operations, and properties in concrete, representational, and abstract models that help students develop their own meaning. Bridges cannot be used in isolation, so Big Ideas provides explicit small group instruction for Tier 2 and 3 students. The program is organized into Set 1 and Set 2 by learning progressions or content rather than by grade level. Set 1 addresses K through 2 critical areas of focus in volumes 1 through 4, and Set 2 addresses grades 3 through 5 critical areas of focus in volumes 5 through 9. Each volume comes with a set of manipulatives like game boards, decks of cards, and spinners. Resources are found in Bridges Intervention Curriculum by volume. So let's talk a little bit about progress monitoring. Assessment includes brief individual interview questions that involve verbs such as explain or relate, understand, or demonstrate. There will be short sets of written tasks, and tasks are scored for the correct answer, with additional points awarded for the use of more efficient and flexible strategies. The maximum score is 10 points, and 7 points or more, they get to move on. After 6 to 8 weeks of intervention, teachers review the student's progress to determine next steps. Keep in groups or exit, continue with the same module or change modules, or use additional assessments. Specific activities or entire sessions may be repeated based on the data. So let's talk a little bit about just getting started. There's 3 parts to it. First part is the screener, and the universal screener focuses on the September number corner baseline. Then there's an assessment, which is the Bridges unit assessment. And then finally you have placement, which is volume placement assessments. So with these 3 components, you can figure out where you need to start. entry points. Now let's talk about that for a minute. So number 1, bridges and or number corner assessments. So after giving a unit assessment or number corner checkup, you may have identified standards students need support with. So in section 2 of the intervention overview for both sets 1 and set 2, use the charts to guide where to intervene with students with specific grade level standards. Number 2, intervention by unit. Section 5 offers teachers and interventionists an opportunity to intervene alongside the current unit of instruction when the learning gaps are not as serious. And number 3, additional placement assessments. Ensure teachers are working with students at their zone of proximal development. Found in section 3 of the intervention set 1 and 2 overviews. Each placement assessment is divided into 3-part screeners. For any of the above entry points, it is suggested that you read the overview introduction within a given volume and examine the starting points. Major instructional targets table in section 1. That chart describes what topic and standard is addressed in each sequence of sessions. It also recommends the time of year best suited for Tier 2 intervention. Now that's a lot of information, so you might want to open your online intervention kit and take a look at the entry points information. Each volume has an introduction that identifies the models and strategies in the volume, followed by the major instructional targets for each module. Preparation section and glossary of terms. This section can be super helpful for volunteers working with a small group. There are 8 to 12 modules per volume, and it varies by volume. Super helpful information for the activities though. And what you would want to do is when you log in to your Bridges Educator site, you would go to the Curriculum tab and then scroll down the page until you see your intervention set. So if you're in the lower primary, you'd be set 1, and the upper primary would be set 2. Once you're inside there, you want to go and either click View to view the teacher's manual or download where you can actually download the manual. All right, now we're going to take a look at module structure. So let's get started. Session 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the final one is your progress monitoring, and that's your assessment. So let's look at the sessions. They're designed for 30 minutes. It starts with warm-up 1 and 2. The warm-up builds counting skills and develops efficient fact strategies, boosts students' fluency, and they last for 5 to 10 minutes. They are fast-paced exercises devoted to building counting skills, developing efficient fact strategies, or boosting student fluency with basic facts or multi-digit computation. The next thing is activities or games, and those last for 15 minutes. The teacher probes student thinking through the use of questioning and prompts to promote efficient strategies and develop the math practices. And the last one is practice pages. Paper, pencil practice designed to transfer the learning from the warm-ups and the activities to a written record. This is not to be completed independently. So the practice lasts for 5 to 10 minutes, and 1 week's worth of intervention, and some students will likely need more time to develop the skills and concepts associated with particular modules. So teachers are encouraged to repeat individual activities, sessions, or even the entire module as needed. Use a combination of the warm-ups, activity, and practice pages. Next, let's take a look at progress monitoring. So closely mirrors what students have worked in sessions 1 through 4, must include a brief interview and a short set of written tasks. It's scored for the correct answer, additional points for efficient and flexible strategies when appropriate. Is recommended score of 7 points or more for students to move on to the next module. If less than 7, you should re-engage with all or parts of the module. At least once a month, monitor using grade appropriate outcome measures, which would be like your number corner checkup and the unit post assessments. If a student designated for Tier 2 support is not making adequate progress after 6 to 8 weeks, use other strategies, including intervention in a smaller group or additional assessment. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about differentiation. Let me get out of the way here. So one way to differentiate your lesson might be through the use of an app called Read and Write. With this app, you can create math vocabulary lists, MP3 audio maker for the teacher's directions or the student's answers. You could simplify the page for your English learners. You would need to pre-teach the students on how to use the app, but once you do, your students will have a lot more access to their math lessons. Included on the slide deck that I give you will be the link to this YouTube video from Eric Kurtz on how to use the Read and Write app. The next thing I'd like to take a look at is maybe some choice boards for bridges. And I'm going to give you one example here. There will be other links inside the slide deck. Here we have a KWL chart. So your students could work with you inside the Bridges Intervention Kit, and here they could write down like what I know about this area of math that they're studying, and then what I want to know about it, so they can tell you what they're lost on, where you can help them the most. And then when it's finished, they can fill in this last category on what I learned. This would be a great activity to put into their math journal. And you might even want to think about maybe gamifying a little bit of it. The Dice is Right is a fun activity that you can use fairly easily with your math students as you're studying through the Bridges Intervention Kit. So you might want to take this little game and apply it to what you're doing. Use it or don't. It's just a different way to differentiate your lesson. And that's it for me today. Thank you for spending some time with me and for learning about the Bridges Intervention Kit. I'm really excited to have you use it. So the whole idea with this is that if your students are stuck and they're not doing well like they should be in their Bridges unit, you can come to the intervention kit and pull up, whatever the subject is that they're struggling with, and spend some time using the intervention kit instead of your Bridges unit. Once they've mastered whatever the skill is, then you go back to your Bridges kit. So if you need some more help with this, just reach out to me. Here's my contact information, and I look forward to working with you, and let me know how this works for you. So I hope you have a better understanding of the Bridges Intervention Kit, and you know what? I'll see you on the next one. Bye!